Here where I'm at, Saturday. It's cold out again. 2 cold days in a row. Let's see. We got 2 of these bad boys right here. They're in a rough cut mode, but we'll clean them up, touch up the welds, buff them down, media blast them, probably epoxy prime them. Let's see if we get some people in here. It seems like every time I do a live video, I get some of the strangest folks come in here. I call them off the street, where they're not anything to do with the channel typically. They're just browsing the feed, I guess, and they see me and they're like, oh, let's either pop in or we'll troll this guy, which it's fine either way. It's all views, right? So I wonder if notifications work that good. Oh, there's somebody there, because it took a full minute. Usually when I go live, I notice within about 25-30 seconds we pick up, we get people. So I just thought I'm taking a break right now, and I'm going to do a little update on these guys. And we got another one over here. You see it right there in the middle. Hey, Big J. Yeah, they'll get. We're getting them uploaded. We had the one this morning, and the schedule is for sure Saturdays at 9, and then Wednesday evenings at 6:45. And then if I put another one up, like last week, it was a satellite. It was, when was that? Like 6:45 on a Monday night. So, hey, Paul. So, we got a couple people in here. Some of the, I call y'all the locals. You're the locals to the channel. I just showed that we got 2 of these cut. They're narrowed down to A-body spec, 52 5/8, flange to flange. They're squared up, so they are true. They are not just stuck together. They are actually narrowed properly. These will go up for sale soon, as well as the one over here. You see I got the ends cut off of that one. I'm going to cut the other, I'm going to cut the difference out of it, and then I'll put the bar through it, the hog head, and we'll get it narrowed down just like those 2 right there. So I kind of went over this yesterday, but I know, you get different groups of people. We got 5,000 plus we get new people, so I'll explain it. I cut this one the other day right here. This one came out of a 65 or 66 C-body Mopar, and the width on it, flange to flange, was 56.5. So, cool story. You subtract what you want, which is 52 5/8, from this, and then whatever you get, you divide that by 2, and then you cut that much off that end, that much off this end. Use your pucks and your differential with the pucks in it and the bar. Make sure it's all stays true. You can turn the bar, tack it, weld it, good to go. Okay, so we did that one first, and it's just like I did on this car here a year plus ago. And there's your result. It was a 66 C-body. It was really identical to this one. Now this one is identical to current state. So I took it off the jig, and it does have the rough weld. I'm going to smooth all that. Because here's where the old purchase were, one of them. So we're going to smooth all that out, buff it down. The other one here, this one came from an E-body, so it's like a Barracuda Challenger. Oddly enough, it's the same exact width as the C-body. It's 56.5. So that made that easy. I already had my measurement, which was, here's the full difference. That's how much you're taking out of it right there. 3.875. And of course, like I said, you just fold it in half squarely. And that's where you cut it here. And once you square it up, you cut it there, get rid of the ring, bring it back together, and there's your new rear. Pretty simple, especially once you do 1 or 2 of them. And so both of those were originally 56.5. Well, this one here came from like a 68, I think, roughly 66, 68 or 60, what did I say, 67? 67 or 68 A-Series van, panel van. Hey, Ed. And so, you know, you're getting all these different vehicles. Well, this one turns out to be same thing, 56 and a half. So we're cutting it down. So I've not had a different measurement of any of them I've cut. They've all they've all had this much taken out of each side, 1 7/8. So 1 7/8, 1 7/8. So it's all pretty cut and dry there. Now this one had extra perches on it for the shocks. You had the standard style perches for the springs, and then it had a shock mount right here. It was like a U-shaped channel, C-channel, whatever you want to call that. Cut those off, so that'll all get buffed down. This one was a little on the rougher side, had more scale, but oddly enough, right here, very well preserved. So this one must have got a lot of weather because the van was literally falling apart when I got to it. We actually just folded it over, cut the floor out of it, and then chopped this out of it. Axle was already out on one side, so just wanted it for the housing, and it actually had a 355 741. Yeah, it was a 741 center section, much like this one, but it had a 355 gear. Hey, we're doing pretty good. Just chilling on a windy, cold day, and trying to make. We're gonna try to hopefully make some money by putting out some of these guys. How's everybody else doing? Looks like we got a very fluctuating number of people in here. I know these lives are they're really wild anymore. You get a whole group of people. Here's our ends that we just cut off of this one. I went ahead and knocked the seals out of them. And most of them are pretty standard fare if you need to index them properly. I just go by the top of this. There's a little point right here. And that's always going to be, it's always going to be right there. Right with the center of this. So I just square them back up to that. A lot of times you can score a mark all the way through there before you cut any off, and then you just bring the score marks together. You're good to go there. I'm going to take this off because it's been on there a long time, probably since it was new, so it might be kind of a fight to get it off. So I need to pop that off so that way we can move forward. I still have to cut out the difference, the 1 7/8 out of here. Same thing down there, and then we'll get out our narrowing kit. These aluminum slugs, pucks, whatever you want to call them. And they will fit. You have to take the studs out for the brake backing plates. And then that will fit right in there. Get it up there flush. You got your bar that goes through each end, and then you'll put your center section in, which is one of these, which I use it for mock-up. And there's your pucks there. You got 2 of them there. So the bar will go through both of those, and it mounts on the end. So even if the housing ends are crooked or off, it actually does not matter. It's nice to get them together. The thing you can do, which I had to do on this one, all of them lined up really nicely, except for this one here. It was a little off, so I had to cut almost completely, actually a little further than half of the tube, and knock the tube over with all the jigging in place, and I was able to weld it back up. So I always weld those one time and then grind them down and weld them again so that you have a more reinforced weld. So that works. No, we're not working on brakes. We're working on this whole differential. It's the entire rear end. But I've got 3 of them here. Brakes are an afterthought. Now, yeah, you have to keep in mind so that all this is indexed properly, so that your brakes aren't crooked or whatever. So that'll line up on there about like so. Top of that little apex with that up there. So make sure that's good. And I always cut a V-groove or a chamfer all the way around. I do it on both sides. I do it on those, and I do it on this. And then when you get them together, I leave a little gap. I want to see just a little bit of light, like where the cutting wheel left it all the way through. And then I hit it with the welder, and I go like a V pattern. That way it sinks all the way in through, to this side here. And then you're filling it like doing a fillet weld all the way through. And then, like I said, I like to grind it out just a little bit. Another little channel, and then weld it again. It kind of gives you two distinct patterns of heat, and you get a nice solid weld. I did it on that car there. We haven't really tested it. I mean, it's good, but did it all the same way. And after you do one of them, the second one mocks up pretty quick, and then the third one, which is this third one, is mocking up pretty quick. Now, if we sell a few of these, or the ones we have here, these three, when they're done, and I'm flexible. If somebody needs purchase put on them for stock or to whatever degree they want, then I'll be glad to do that. But we'll work out a deal with whoever and however they want it. Then you can buy your own axles, your own seals, put your own differential. I'm just providing the housing, because the housing is the thing that's kind of difficult to get for a lot of people, because the A-bodies they were not very common. They only ran up to 72, and then it was on mostly high-performance cars. There's not many of those, at least, left. So you have a shortage, so we take these commoners, and I saved several of these. I actually saved all three of these from junkyard. I saved this one from the junkyard. If I'd have left them in there, they'd be crushed and gone and melted down now, because that junkyard has been crushing out for the last 2 years. I wanted to get more. We did lose a lot of them. There was a bunch more I wanted to get, but we do have connection. Kyle over at Mopar's, or RT's Mopar Salvage, I get dyslexic on that. He has a lot of them that are full-sizers, and we might work something out. If these sell okay, then we will go about shortening or narrowing those down, and then we'll move those, and people will have more availability. And I would like to do them a little bit more reasonable price, which they're actually reasonable when people cut this stuff down. And this will be a quality product. It'll be nice, welded properly. It'll be squared up. There won't be any binding in the axles when you put them in. They'll be the correct width. So, yeah, so whatever the going rate is for just, like, let's say a standard housing, like, let's say this is cleaned up just as it is, and maybe in primer, even without the purchase, I'd probably sell them for just a little less than what everybody else is. That way we're getting them back into circulation. People can enjoy the hobby more. But, you know. So, David, you need help. You need his help. Oh, you need your help. You need my help, I guess, with the duster. So hopefully our videos are helping you out. We did have the little debacle a few weeks ago where our old channel name was not working for somebody. They had legal responsibility over it, and so I had to respond to that. Now we're the Indiana Garage, but we are getting the videos back up for this series in a timely manner. I am doing some improvements to the videos so they're a little bit more watchable, because a lot of that was cut a few years ago, and I've learned a little bit about YouTube. So, yeah. And then we got the series that just started on this car. We put that out on Monday, episode 1. So if you're interested in this original purple car, the video's up, and then this is going forward, and a lot of this is from behind. But maybe by the end of spring, we'll have both of them kind of lined up to each other, so to speak. There's a lot of stuff that needs done, and a couple different approaches on this car from that car. As far as how we did it, we put out the video for blasting this morning on that car. You can see how this car looked at that point. So if you're new to the channel, or you're just catching up, make sure you check that video out. That is this car right here. The media blasting video we put out this morning is that car. It's come a long way, but it came that way fairly quick. This one may not be a blast car, because a lot of the sheet metal, other than this stuff, is really good shape. These quarter panels are good, with some very small exceptions, and a lot of the floor is good. That one was pretty much completely shot and roasted. So a lot of this will probably get cut out, but it's not going to get hacked down to the degree that one was. So I think I am considering chemical dipping this car, or alkaline dipping, or whatever. We're getting some information. I know I have taken panels up to Indianapolis and had Pro Strip do them. I know they do bodies. I just want a little better education. We're talking to a couple people that have Actually done a few of these cars in particular, and they have some information they want to get back to me on their experience. A lot of times when you get into cars where you dip them is the flanges. Let's find a flange. So like say for instance right here, this overlaps this metal here, so there's 2 layers of metal. Well, the chemical dip will get in under there, and it'll clean out any rust, any paint, make it all brand new metal. Now a lot of cases though is when you do that, depending on the type of chemical used. So these comments are funny. When you do that and you get it out, they have to deal with it. They have to neutralize it accordingly, or else you're going to have that stuff come back through your paint, and that's not a good deal. So it's going to be all down the drain, and then you'll have to go to the Bahamas. You'll wish you was in the Bahamas. Mr. Poteet, yeah, I'll probably have to get in contact with Paul again and let him know, hey, we need to do some more voiceovers. But yeah, so there's that one. Thing is, if you go to the Bahamas, you come back, then it's over. Then you ain't got nothing to show for it, but especially if you get conked on the head, and then you ain't going to remember any of it, So yeah, we'll get with Paul on that, and working on these things. So that's probably going to be it for now. Like I said, next update, if not Monday, you'll get the next video on Wednesday. And I'm going to go back to cutting the rest of this thing down and going from there. So y'all have a good rest of your Saturday.